With the recent release of Resident Evil 2 Remake, I thought it would be fun to do a Resident Evil related video. Now, for those of you that have been subscribed here, you know that I've mentioned before, at least in some live streams and probably some past videos, that I am a pretty big Resident Evil fan. From the first time I played Resident Evil on the PlayStation back in '96, which was actually at Manny's house. He rented it and we both stayed up all night, played it, and it was fantastic. From that point on, I became a lifelong fan, of course. And once I was able to scrounge up my money, I saved up and I bought myself a copy, and I still have that copy to this day. So of course, naturally, when I heard about Resident Evil 2 coming out in 1998, I of course pre-ordered it, and I still have that copy. This is the exact copy that I pre-ordered back in 1998. Still have it. And when I got a hold of this, I got this on release day. I actually skipped school that day with one of my other friends, and went and picked this up first thing in the morning when Electronics Boutique opened up. Stay in school, kids, don't be skipping school. But I digress, because this video is not really about Resident Evil 2, and it's not about Resident Evil 2 Remake either, but it does have to do with a mystery involving the first Resident Evil game. Now, I gotta give credit where credit's due, because his video is the one that inspired this video, and that is Whang's video on Resident Evil Inezh, his gaming mysteries video, where he talked about trying to track down and find out who was the actress that portrayed Jill Valentine in the first Resident Evil game. Now, he was trying to find out who was the voice actress, and he was also trying to find out who the actress was for the recorded scenes, for the movie style scenes in the beginning of the game, and of course at the ending of the game. Now, he was not able to find out who this person's identity was, and it at this time still remains a mystery. Now, I'm not going to get your hopes up and say that I have revealed the mystery, but I also did some following up of my own. Now, for those of you that have been subscribed to the channel here for a while, you do know that I am an acquaintance of Reuben Langdon, aka Dante from Devil May Cry 3 and 4. He did the voice work. He also did the motion capture work for Dante in those games. And me and him keep in touch pretty frequently, and anytime he comes to Florida, we usually try to find the time to get together and at least have a meal and hang out for a little bit. But I was speaking with him the other day, and of course, everything I'm about to show you guys is with his consent, of course, because this was an interaction that we had via private message. For those of you that don't know a lot about Reuben Langdon, I'll leave a link, or I'll put it in the suggested video so you guys can check it out. I did a series with him called the Gaijin Memoirs, where I pretty much kind of chronicle his career, at least up until that point. So if you guys want to check that out, it's kind of a little docu-series slash interview series, so you guys could learn a little bit more about him if you don't know who I'm talking about. But getting back to the conversation I had with Reuben, one of the things that Whang mentioned in his video was IMO, which stands for Inagawa Motoko Office. Now, of course, I don't know if I said the Japanese words right. I probably completely butchered them, but this is an agency in Japan that apparently books foreign talent for roles within things like this, gaming, maybe commercials, and other things of the like. So I asked Reuben about this, because Reuben is a person that still works pretty frequently in Japan. He's completely fluent in Japanese, and as you know, he's worked very closely with Capcom in the past, of course, with Devil May Cry 3, 4, Devil May Cry 5. He's also done the motion capture work on the Resident Evil games. He has been Chris Redfield in all incarnations of Chris Redfield since Code Veronica, with the exception of Resident Evil Remake for the GameCube. He has done the motion capture work for Chris Redfield. So he has strong ties to Capcom, and I felt that he would be the best to approach with this, because when Reuben went to Japan initially, he got a lot of work, and one of the agencies that he worked for was none other than IMO. Now, of course, his experience with IMO was not very good, but I did ask him questions about IMO, and this is what he had to say. I've heard that there's a Japanese agency called Inagawa Motoko Office in Japan that Capcom may have used to cast her. It'd be cool to find out if she ever worked on anything else. IMO is a terrible agency, very unorganized, and for sure would not know. I worked for them over 20 years ago, one time, and had a bad experience. Oh wow, so you have first-hand experience with them. I recently went back to some of my old agency friends and asked about IMO, and they said they are still around, but same old horrible way of doing things. Yeah, I wouldn't go near them if you paid me. By the way, they don't pay you. Dang, so if nothing has changed, it's probably just a dead end, huh? They steal money from foreign talent. That's freaking horrible, dude. And in the sex part here, he kind of speculates a little bit on Inezh herself. Yeah, the girl was probably an embassy kid or lived on an army base. So in between that, we had a lot of casual banter, and I wanted to get really to the point and just kind of double check and confirm with him. So you would say it's a pretty safe bet given their track record. If they did book the young lady only known as Inezh, they probably wouldn't have that info anymore. 1,000,000% sure they don't know. So there you have it, straight from somebody that not only worked for IMO himself and probably around the time that the first Resident Evil game came out, but also somebody that is very credible and has worked not only in Japan, but in the gaming industry for over 20 years at this point, has closely worked with Capcom and has a good relationship with them, has also had a past relationship with IMO and several various other Japanese agencies. He's a man who is obviously fluent in Japan, lived in Japan for some time, and this is a guy that, again, has always, that I can say, given me very credible information, so I have no reason to doubt what he is saying here. So it looks like IMO is probably going to be just another dead end, and of course, with what he said with their disorganization, it's highly unlikely that they know who Inezh is or have any record for Inezh at all. And there's a pretty good chance that with the track record of this particular agency, they probably screwed her over in terms of payment. Of course, we don't know that for sure. There's no way of knowing that for sure. But one thing I think that we can say is it's probably just another dead lead at this point. Now, it's not to say that the possibility of a record still exists, that, you know, it could still be out there, that information could be buried somewhere in the IMO offices, but it's probably not something that anybody will unearth anytime soon if it does exist. And as Whang stated in his video, even Shinji Mikami, who Reuben also said would be the person to know who Inezh is, doesn't know who Inezh is outside of that first name. Chances are nobody else will know. So it might be something that not only will remain a mystery for a long time, but it might not ever be solved. Who knows? But hey, keep hope alive. Maybe it will be. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I look forward to seeing what kind of discussion we could have about this. And if anybody has any kind of leads, maybe go ahead and talk about them in the comment section below, or theories. That's always fun. Until next time, y'all, you know how it goes. The hunt continues.